G'day and welcome to Aussievision. I'm Dale and we have the wonderful Liv with us, of course.
Hello.
Now, Liv, where are we?
Well, this is actually the press centre, believe it or not, but it actually functions as an ice skating rink, I think, for the rest of the year. So
ice hockey?
Ice hockey?
Ice
yeah.
skating?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of really cute, they've got pucks and stuff, stuck to the walls around here, and it's cute, but, that's why it looks a bit like this.
Yeah, well, they're sort of plonked down on the floor.
Yeah, we are in the stands at the moment.
Yes. There's a lot of climbing up and down these chairs, which I've got a bit of a workout now.
Yeah.
Right, we are going to be talking about the dress rehearsal, the first dress rehearsal for semi-final 2 that we saw in the stadium today and had good vision as well.
We sat in a good spot this time. We had a good view of the screen, and yes, just to clarify, we definitely were in the arena, so yeah.
Yeah, so we get a good idea. We know things change when we see it down the screen, properly, but it gives us a good indication. So we're going to go through song by song here, and we're going to go running order, which means we're going to start off with Australia.
Us, the novelty of going first.
I know, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It was weird. It was like, I'm not used to this. But at least that means we can't really go first in the final if we get there.
Yeah. Now, we loved the 30 seconds that we saw. We've got to see the full 3 minutes today. What are your thoughts?
We're always really critical of ourselves, right? We're high achievers, but I do love it. I think it pops in the way that the colours are really special. This is a year where a lot of people are going for just sort of blocky things, and we have something really special with all the neon and the retro stuff. I don't want to give away because there's lots of... The thing is, the photos and the snippets, you guys haven't seen anything when it comes to actually the story that's in this staging, and I kind of don't want to spoil anything, but it's hard to talk. Maybe I'll leave that for you.
Yeah, look, I'll try and get the thing. There's definitely there's an on-screen effect at the start where he's in a TV in a retro kind of way.
Infomercial kind of.
Yeah, an infomercial. And I don't think that's giving too much away there. No. And then he kind of pops out of that and is on stage. Then he's out of the TV, then he does the, changeovers, we know. Yeah. There's some other parts of it. Again, we probably won't give away.
No.
There's a character that comes in, that's all I'll say, that goes into the blender.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes. And the first time it happened, we were a bit not sure, but then we spoke to our friends who are Brits and they went, they absolutely loved it. So we just don't know how we quite feel about it.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is when that person came on, I was like, oh, actually that's really quite funny. But then it's hard to see with the screen. I need to see it down the screen about them going in and the blend and them coming out and how that kind of reveal is, because we haven't got to see that properly where we knew what Gojo's one looked like. What I do love is eventually he gets shirtless via other reveals, which I thought was done really well.
Yes.
And he does this big running knee slide to the front of the stage.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible.
It's a really good moment, and just the whole last 30 seconds is really epic, the way it all comes together. It's a great way to start the show and finish his performance. You can tell the crowd is going to be crazy. Similar to Iceland, I guess, where everyone's really hyped that the first song has just come on and just the crowd looks bananas. We're going to get that.
Yeah, and he's at the end and he's doing the thrusting of his hips.
Yeah.
There's a cool response. There's a lot of moments that really will depend on the crowd being in the stadium. And I think he also will be... he was great today, but he'll rise to another level.
Yes.
Bring that charisma, bring that Gojo element when we see it with a live crowd. And I think that's going to be the secret ingredient to this whole song, which has always been part of it, right?
Oh, 100%. You could tell there was a little bit left in the tank, I guess, from this performance today. But I have no doubt that with the crowd, it's just going to get to that next level.
Yeah, and it's not going to be forgotten running first. I think that's the important thing. And as soon as you come back, it's a great recap. They've chosen a good recap, which is very important.
Keep that recap.
Yes, definitely keep that recap. But, overall, I'm feeling positive. I just want to see it down the screen properly.
Yes.
Because I think it really is a big TV performance in probably the first half, and then the second half is a crowd performance.
Yeah. Totally agree.
All right, well, that's Australia. We have to hedge our bets a bit there and just wait and see. Montenegro next. What a vocal performance. I could feel that in the stadium.
Yes. it was just a complete 180 from Gojo. I think that's just like the
Yeah.
most stark thing that came out of that. And I actually think that is beneficial for her, because if you don't want the Gojos of the world,
Yep.
she's like, I have this completely different option, vote for me. And initially I thought he was going to stomp on her, but actually I think she has a bit of breathing room there somehow in the coffin slot.
I agree.
Yeah. I was impressed. It's very basic, her staging. It's on it's sort of white LEDs, and she's got the white outfit, and then she sort of pops the hood back on it, and it does a big vocal. Like, it's all very simplistic, but that's also kind of the point of the song, is to just let her shine, and she looks stunning.
She looks fantastic, and I think after last night, where we've seen results where people want that different type of song,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of fun entries, a lot of other things going on, and I think Simple done well with a great vocal. This was very impressive, but it's still the same song. It's still Montenegro, but I think
Yes.
it's given itself more of a chance than it had, but its chances were pretty low to start with.
Yes, it's sort of like, maybe we're not coming right at the bottom of this semi-final anymore.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones, like, if there was a shock qualifier, it could be it just because of that vocal and the cleanness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ireland next, and I think this started really well. Like, she was wearing this kind of metallic hood thing, which was a bit interesting, but she's up on stage on this spaceshipy type of thing,
Yes.
and I think it kind of, it gets going pretty well, but she's just sort of up there the entire time, isn't she?
Yeah, see, I adore this entry. I was really hoping for a lot more, but she unfortunately stays on top of that prop for the whole 3 minutes, and it's actually just really just rinse and repeat the whole time. It's like she does a little dance, she smiles at the camera, she does it on the side, and then that's it. I mean, there's just honestly not much going on. It's so repetitive. Like, it's fine for 30 seconds, but you got to do something else. It was really disappointing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think what it does well, but it just, as you say, is repeats it over and over again. And I mean, maybe there's still an audience here for this. Like, I think it plays into a younger market. I think there's some fun LEDs.
Yeah.
Vocally, that's the best I've heard her.
Yeah,
She was
I
good.
agree. She
Very
looked
good.
very relaxed up
Strong.
there, very happy, vocally good.
Yeah. But I think the issue is, as you said, it is static and it's the same. But if people love it, then that could work. But I don't know. I think I would have liked to seen something else happen.
I mean, if this was like a song that was already a huge hitter already, like a Tommy Cash kind of level song, and you put that kind of basic staging with it, it probably could scrape through anyway. But the fact that the song already kind of had some issues and it's not streaming very well and all these other things, it kind of feels like we're done here.
I'm not ready to call it yet.
Oh, okay.
This one of those. I know I'm being very conservative, maybe after last night's shocks, but I think they haven't made their job easier.
No, I really wanted in that final. It's bloody fun.
Well, as long as it doesn't get in front of us. But I
true.
think I need to see it down the screen, because I think because it's such a static thing on the stage, and we do have the vision in the screen, it's not the same as watching on TV, and I think that's a particular one I need to see for sure.
Fair enough.
All right, well, let's move on to Latvia now. This was visually really quite stunning. That looks great with the curtain, amazing costumes. It looks really good.
It really does. I mean, it's the national final staging, but just beefed up and refined. I will say that there was a few camera shots that needed tidying up, where I guess it wasn't just the best angle to show that particular movement or whatever. Like, there was just a couple of really funny stray ones in there that I feel like brought it works best when it's intimate and sort of warm and glowy. And there was just I felt that during the orange sections, because there's kind of the blue section of the song and then the orange section that was really bright, like super bright, and I was like, okay, it's kind of ruining the mood. It needs to be all mysterious and like just darken it up a bit, please.
Yeah, and I don't know, there was a tail thing. It's not giving too much away, because I think people got a bit wowed by it, but I kind of maybe missed at the start, and I was like, okay, I don't know, it's almost distracting. I need to see it properly.
Well, I believe from my very brief search on Google, it's some a folky type thing.
So it makes sense in the story.
But yes, correct. But I agree, when it happened and it was it's almost like a long cattail type thing, I was a bit like, whoa. what is that? Like, it looked cool, but at the same time I found it distracting because I didn't understand it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall I was really impressed.
Yes.
Visually with it, the tail's fine. Go for the tail all your life. LED floor use, which was, I thought, actually looked quite nice. And I thought they were all on the floor at one point, I think.
Yes.
So nice to see something else other than the curtain stuff and the kind of dancing. Like, add another element into it.
Yes.
Because you don't kind of think LEDs with this, but it just gave it a little pop. I didn't mind that part, actually.
I agree. And just the 6 of them stand out. There isn't a group that's kind of like that this year where you can bounce off each other like that, and they just do such a fabulous job of it. I love it.
Yeah, it's got a little unique selling point about what
it really does.
It's not for me, but I was watching that going, hey, if I'm into that kind of stuff, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy
100%.
this, and it looks very nice. So I think it's good day for them. Armenia. Now I'm going to go to you first. What did you think of Armenia, Liv?
We have different opinions on this, but I will say that they've extracted everything they possibly could to try and get out of that semi-final and make a compelling package. He's basically on a treadmill for 3 minutes in a few different variations, and he jumps off it a few times and hops back on. That is the performance. I would love to know actually how many meters he's running through that performance.
That's a good one.
Maybe I should ask him.
You should.
But yeah, basically it's great for about a minute until you get to that first chorus. And then it just keeps going for another 2 to 3 minutes, Dale.
I love it. I think it's great. I'm really impressed with it. It's just power. There's a lot of power in it. Like,
I feel that.
And I mean, when it started, I was like, oh, okay, vocal, I'm not sure. But it didn't really matter in this song. It's just it's a kind of very shouty, you've said it before, Imagine Dragons-y type of song.
Yeah.
And it feels very like, it's like he's in some kind of industrial factory running on a treadmill for whatever reason that case is, but I'm buying it. Like, I think it looks really good. I think it works overall. I don't know. I think it's given itself, it's elevated it in staging of its chances. The staging has helped it potentially qualify. The song alone, no.
I totally agree. This now has a shout at potentially qualifying, which is a huge move for a song that I think a lot of us discounted pretty much immediately.
And I think it's a nice little running order for that type of song. He brings in a lot of energies, and actually that kind of, I think for Australia, I wish maybe he wasn't there. I don't know, this kind of pops. Maybe I'm over egging Armenia though. I think so. Oh, Austria. I've definitely got to throw to you first.
Oh, please don't. No. Okay. How do we do this? It is all in black and white. We won't give away completely everything, but from what you're seeing in the pictures, that is what the vast majority of the staging is. There's the boat prop, and you can imagine that there's ropes moving around and stuff like that. And a lot of it is just sort of emotional delivering with cutesy artistic camera shots and stuff like that, which is fine. The vocal was good, as JJ always is, but I would say the first minute, it's like, wow, so different. But then that middle minute was like, oh, it's kind of sagging. Like, you're kind of just doing the same movements on the boat and just moving around all airy-fairy. And then, like, the last, 45 seconds when it really kicks off, yeah, that did look really cool, really epic. But at the same time, he's not singing. Like, it's kind of distracting that he's just sort of woo in that moment rather than singing. Oh, I don't know, Dale.
Yeah, I've had a lot of strong feelings about this, and I'll start on the positive. Is that when you're in the illusion of like almost the film of the storm, and they're getting those shots right, and you see the bottom of the boat and you see the top, and he's selling it. I just think that works really well, and I think a lot of people will really love that.
Yeah.
Then sometimes there's other shots, and you see it on the stage, the boat, and it just looks like a giant prop in a theatre play.
Or like a drama class at school.
Yeah, like just independent theatre style kind of stuff. And those two switches are very kind of like, because you like almost this blockbustery kind of film, or like independent film versus...
It breaks the illusion.
Yeah. Too choppy.
Compared to Switzerland, for instance, you're in that illusion the whole time until you're let out when the twinkling lights.
They choose it.
And they choose it. Whereas with JJ, you're right. There's moments where you're like, oh, whoa. And then other moments where you're like, oh, cool. So that's how they did it.
It just feels a bit disjointed. But I mean, the beautiful parts are beautiful. I think the ending's really nice as well. The vortex thing that the boat goes down to, it's hard to see that properly, but it looked pretty good, I think.
Do you think this could be a jury winner still?
Who knows with the juries? They seem to love it. I've got some blind spot for this one, clearly, but I really don't feel... We've said this all along. The public vote ain't going to come for this, and I don't think it's going to come for it very much at all from what we've seen today. So that's the caveat. All right. Well, let's move on to the UK now. I'll start on this one. I really think the connection between the three is there, and that's what they're really playing into. Like they're really down to earth young women. We've heard that they're like that, and that's coming through in the camera. That really,
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
the connection's
Yeah.
there. They've got a kind of a makeup sort of dressing roomy
Yeah,
thing.
one of those sort of Hollywood style ones with the little lights that go around the perimeter, and
I had to ask Liv what it was.
I still don't know the name of that type. I know there's
know.
a special name for it.
We'll
but
look it up.
I don't have one, but anyway.
And then they move down to that giant chandelier, and then they go around. And look, when the shots work and when the harmonies really are spot on, it does look good. But there's a lot of other kind of clunky camera shots that just look like a bit like a normal, maybe British TV performance.
Yes, actually, that's what it feels a bit like. Is like
Strictly or
yes,
X Factory
actually,
or, yeah.
exactly. Especially with the props as well. That's sort of very. Anyway, I don't know about the chandelier actually because like it's already on the floor. Like it would have been really cool, and I'm sure they probably tried to get this happen where you can have it drop or something, and I'm presuming they probably said no, maybe for technical reasons. But it's already on the floor. It looks a bit sad. It's just sort of on its side, like, and then they're just sort of clomping around it. Like I don't really like it. But I do agree that they have unique voices, unique harmonies. That's unique and nice, and they seem quite lovely.
They do, and the one thing, their vocals are fantastic, and there's no doubt that they harmonise so well. I think there might have been a bit of over-singing today, a little bit.
Yes.
And it just threw it off, and particularly because it's so reliant on those harmonies that it really did stand out when it didn't quite work. And I never thought I'd have to worry about their vocals. And it's not that I just think there was over-singing.
I tend
maybe.
to agree. I'm not sure if it's that they just had the volume up really high in the arena, but it was almost like piercing how loud it was at times. And
Yeah.
I could hear their backing vocalists a little more than I expected to. Like it felt like
yeah.
the three of them were fighting for harmonies, and then the backing vocalists who were punching out a little bit more. It was a little too much. So it'll be interesting to see that down the TV when we get better mixing.
Yeah, they might get that. They'll get that right,
Yeah.
surely. So yeah, we won't have to worry about it. But where the points are going to come is jury and vocal. So
Yes.
they've got to make sure they get that right. All right, let's go to Greece now. I was quite impressed with this. What do you think?
Really?
Yeah, you weren't?
No, but I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
I was always a big fan of it, but I was kind of hoping for a little more. But it's also very good. Like I feel like I can't complain.
Are you being a bit nah on this one?
But yeah, nah. Like look, she's on the rock the whole time, which
That's
makes
true.
it a little bit static in that way. But also, she's got the graphics, and she's sort of, it's like
she
she's
walks
a bit.
around a bit. There's like a pier, right? Isn't there a pier thing?
What? No, I'm pretty sure she's just on the rock, bro.
Okay.
Isn't she?
I think so. We'll have to double check that.
Because remember there is a slight outfit thing.
Slight. There's a full reveal.
Yeah,
With a
it's
different
really
colour at
weird.
the end, which is good. I
She
like
finishes
it.
the last big note, and then they just rip off the black, and then she has a white dress underneath, which actually is quite nice because it's like, shedding and then all. It's nice, but it's just funny because it comes at the very end, right? Like she's finished, and then it's like whoosh, outfit reveal, and it kind of took us all by surprise. Like we'd all seen the photos, we knew the white dress was coming, but then we all forgot about it, and then we're surprised that it happened.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good reveal, and I think it's obviously part of the storytelling of the whole thing. Whether maybe a casual viewer at home will go kind of like, why didn't you just take that off earlier? Because they're not going to know about the story and all that kind of stuff.
No.
But I think it still plays all right. I liked it. I liked the performance. I thought she sounded really good. I thought the LEDs are fantastic.
I think it has a huge point of difference in the style of song and the way it's been staged. It's kind of a little old school, but like whooshed up for a modern audience, which I love that. And she does use sort of three distinct colour palettes with the staging to keep things going, because it's never fun when it's all just blue, white, like.
And Lisa, compared to like Emmy from Ireland, where it's exactly the same type of thing, rinse and repeat. Yes, she's static, but we're getting very different kind of
That's
chapters.
true.
Yeah,
Totally true.
And I thought she sounded stunning. I really enjoyed it. But actually, it is a bit old school, a bit 2000s. But yeah, done well.
Yeah.
And I think people will really like that.
I think so. There's a classic charm about it, I feel.
All right, Lithuania. And actually, I'll just start really quickly on this one because
Please.
I have to say, I would normally like this sort of genre of music and I've not really been enjoying this song this season. I've just found it a bit dreary. But today I am very happy to say that I've completely changed my mind, and that was really bloody good.
Oh, I'm so happy you finally changed your mind.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it's everything that they've done sort of before in their aesthetic, but just bigger and bolder. But it really popped through, and they're finishing out the front. It just worked.
It's really captivating. I will say the thing that stood out to me the most is they use a lot of really close shots, and it's almost a little uncomfortable, but that's kind of on, the song is a bit uncomfortable. You're meant to be, gnawing at the cage door, like, you're meant to sort of feel visceral. And they really capture that. And then they have sort of 3 distinct LED backgrounds. One where there's like a little shack, 2 where there's like these sort of wooden splinters that are moving around that looks really cool, and then this final one with these big sort of rocks in space or whatever. But geez, it looks really good, and it just tells the story really well. Like, for a band, this has got to be one of the better band stagings I've seen. It's really hard to get an atmosphere and a story in a band staging, and I'm impressed.
It feels authentic to
really
who they are and what they're
Yeah.
about. And because you've seen bands sometimes, they just play to the Eurovision thing. I feel like Eurovision's working around them. Like, they're still being themselves. And that's really hard to do, to not let the competition, the staging completely swallow up your identity. And I think they've kept it there. It seems to be working great. All right, Malta next. Wow, what a beginning. The giant lips with disco ball that she turns around and comes out of. But I will have to say, the disco ball and the lips are placed between legs that are kind of open and the LED behind, which had me clutching my pearls a little bit, Liv, I won't lie. And I'm not stuffy, but I was like, oh, is that a bit much?
I think maybe if it was just that one element, but when you put it with a lot of other aspects to her staging that were quite risque at points, I was like more than Erica Vickman at UMK, way more. And it just feels like it's too much. It actually is too much. Like, it's not a good polarizing at that point. It's just, I don't know, Dale. I really feel like they've missed the mark here. I'm worried.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they've leaned hard into this whole thing, which has worked well in some PR sense, but I'm not sure about in your staging concept. There's just a lot of legs open situation. Dancers, the screen, the whatever. And we have to kind of a little lesson from Ollie from last year in the UK is that there will be a level that people will kind of go, oh, that's too much. Now, look, I'm like, all for her, slay down diva, all about that.
Yes.
And I love the empowerment of stuff, but I think in a competition sense, it's probably gone a bit too far and a bit too literal.
Well,
hold something here to give to us.
Other thing I'm worried about is because of that, I feel like the juries are going to be a little bit more turned off by it now. When I always thought it could get quite a good jury backing, I'm now a bit like, oh, are they going to not want to touch this now? I don't know. Like, I think it's just the combination of everything. If you kind of took a lot of these elements on their own, it would have been fine. But the actual LEDs and the colours that she uses is very busy. Her outfit is loud. Everything is just too loud. There's actually so much stuff going on. You don't know where to look and what to do.
And this is it. Like, I've been obsessed with this song and her and everything all season. So this is no going down on Mariana here, because I think there's a lot of good stuff still here. There's a lot of good a lot of good work with the dancers, but the camera work at times is not great there.
Yes.
So she sings it well as well. She's hitting her notes today. She's still serving everything great.
Yeah.
We missed a few shots when they bring out the gym balls at the end.
Yes.
So we couldn't see the full effect of that.
No.
Because I think that's a real moment. But all I would say is busy. I totally agree. It's very busy. It's very hard to know where to look and what to take in. And then therefore, what you end up taking in is the stuff we were talking about earlier. And yeah, I'm not saying it's in danger, but I'm worried for it. I just think it could have been so much more effective. The potential
100%.
was there so much.
Yeah, totally agree.
Oh, all right. Let's go to Georgia next. I kind of felt like I was at a theatre performance in Tbilisi with some traditional dancers behind, and that's great for there, but not maybe for Eurovision.
Well, kind of felt like, I was actually picturing me getting invited to like a Georgian wedding or something, and she's the wedding singer, which is not usually the vibe that you want at Eurovision. And I do think that the backing dances are the highlight of this performance, which is, I mean, this is a singing contest, so it's a little concerning when that's the bit that you're enjoying the most, right?
Yeah. Agree. I thought I couldn't take my eyes off them.
Yeah.
And I wish they were actually, I don't think the camera shots are effective enough to show how great their performance is in the background.
Correct. They were doing heaps, and I'm like, oh, you can't even see it on the screen when I was looking at it.
Yeah. France next. Obviously a big contender, a very big risk and a big swing with this whole sand effect.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's not really sand, is it? No. Like, it's interesting, like, the shots that we saw in the snippets were all kind of wider, and the sand looked better. And then once you get to the close-up shots, it's more like chunks? Yeah. And, like, they get sort of stuck in her hair and her eyelashes. I found it really distracting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And just for those who might want to know, they bring out a big black tarp.
Yes.
And I think they must lower the sand down because we didn't see it being put on, but we saw it being taken off, which is interesting in itself. But I think I understand what they were going for, and I think their storytelling, which they really show at the start of the performance, her vocal is fantastic, and she actually does some little flourishes at the end, real little jury nod there, and she sounds brilliant. When it's on her, she's really good and captivated, but when she's kind of in the sand and just like playing around with it, it looks like a sand pit.
It kind of does. It's fine when she interacts with it a little bit, but the whole performance is kind of just different shades of her playing with sand, which is just so, it's bizarre at times. It just looks a little odd. There's like a bit where there's like a mirror that she finds in the sand pit, and it's not a very nice mirror. It just looks, I don't know, a bit janky in there. Like, I don't really understand it. Like, I feel like I needed her to come out of the sand pit and like finish at the front or something. Is that what she does? What does she do at the end?
So at the end, well, then we had the big visual effect of like the sand falling on her and the big twisting around.
Yes.
And look, actually that looks good from afar. It's just when it's close up and it's kind of getting in her face and stuff, which I just find a bit off-putting. But it does look visually spectacular, and a lot of people love it. I think maybe we haven't loved it as much as some.
Yeah.
But then it kind of stops, and then she just sings with a kind of neutral bluish black background.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous. I probably, even though there's bits of stuck in her hair still, but it was just nice to see her sing without sand.
I agree.
And we haven't even talked about all the the explosions that happen behind her, which are multiple over and over again.
She gets pelted by sand. Like, they have like this like thing that kind of like blows it into the back of her head. It's really bizarre, because in the initial pictures that we saw, I thought it was I didn't know where the sand was coming from. So then watch it in real time, and it's like, oh no, it's just like whacking her on the back of the head. It was kind of distracting. Like, I don't know if we're in the bubble on this one, Dale, but like, we've spoken to a few people in the press centre and they seem a bit more positive on it than us.
I just think for the song itself, you need a staging to lift it up, and I feel like it overwhelms it.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally covering it with sand.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Because this is a delicate song.
Yes.
It's a powerful, delicate song.
Exactly.
But actually, the staging smothers it.
Yeah, and those shots of the stuff coming out from behind her, I just don't know what they were thinking with that. Everyone at home is going to be thinking what we all think. All right, well, we'll see how that goes, but I think it has definitely dropped its chances. I don't see this at all having a chance of winning.
No.
All right, Denmark next. This was a hard one to get a grip of, because I feel like she wasn't giving everything. It's just a rehearsal, and it's a big vocal, so she was probably saving herself a bit.
She was definitely saving herself, which is fine. Like, artists do that. She didn't actually have like all her makeup on or anything like that. So she had the outfit and hair, but yeah. So it was kind of hard because she wasn't kind of giving it, and that's what that song needs to kind of know whether it has the feel. I think with the crowd and her beautiful bubbly self, I think they have elevated this to a point where it has a chance now to go through in a way that we perhaps thought it couldn't before.
And I think it's got a great running order.
Yes.
I can't remember if there was... Sometimes this happens, the host talk, and it even longer and longer, and we've got France and we've got Georgia before, and then this just comes in and gives energy.
Totally agree. Yeah.
A bit like San Marino did in the first semi.
Yeah, it's pretty much around the same kind of spot where there's that little slump and everyone's probably gone and gotten a snack and come back and then they want to party.
Yeah, and it works really well for that. It's very curtainy. I still would probably prefer there was more LED use for this, but look, I think she's a star in the way she'll perform it. The vocal will be great. It's just going to be whether the song is enough at the right time. It's given itself a chance in the running order and what she can do, but it's definitely going to be on the cusp. And I haven't seen enough today to say yay or nay.
No, exactly.
All right, Czechia next. A song everyone has been talking about a lot. There's been a few mixed opinions in the press centre, but not with us. We weren't a fan, were we?
No, I mean, sorry, I was a fan of the song before Eurovision, and I still am, but in terms of staging, I think we can both agree that it's really simplistic, but not in a good way. Like, simple done well is a thing, and it's great. This is just simple. Like, he's kind of diva pose here, like look into the camera, white background, white outfit, little outfit reveal, and then I dance a bit, and then that's it. And it's all just white.
Yeah, a lot of and some odd camera shots. He looks really good.
Yeah.
I just feel like this was that kind of song. It sounds really rich and a lot of production, and then I feel maybe the staging, even though it looks aesthetically pleasing there's just not a lot of depth to it.
No.
And probably the time it does do something is the dance break, but it's so jank. It's just going to be like shoved in there.
Yeah.
Completely different color palette with the red.
Yeah, I didn't think that color palette suited the dance break either.
It's almost far too far removed. It would have moved into something different, but maybe not like I'm watching a different song. So I don't know. It just didn't come together for me. But we've talked to other people and they love it.
Yeah, and they can't believe that we think it's in a lot of danger. Like,
because I do think this is in danger. I'm not ready to call it yet, but I'm thinking NQ, and I've always been worried about that song. All right, let's move on to Luxembourg next. This was a bit of the wow moment of today because that opening was amazing in the dollhouse.
In the dollhouse. It's really clever. I mean, we won't break down every camera shot, but I can tell you they do a lot of very clever stuff in that first 30 seconds. The actual sort of burgundy outfits they have are really stunning. We get an outfit reveal. That outfit is also really stunning. Just the general aesthetics of the LEDs with all that sort of pink and child kind of poppy stuff. It just all really came together. I was shocked. I went from being so mid on this to being like, wow, that's incredible. That's great.
Yeah, there was a lot of like ooh, ahs, wow in the press section, and we haven't really heard a lot of that so far.
No.
So people were very impressed. The only thing I'll probably say is that happens. It's almost maybe the best part of the whole performance. It sags a bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And you're kind of waiting for her to do something. There's the dress reveal, and she is nailing some vocals there at the end, and it's a really big, good finish. Just sags a bit in the middle. That's probably my downside on this one.
I agree, but this went from something that could slip through the cracks to I think this is a certain qualifier now. Like, it's that level of quality.
I totally agree. All right, Israel next, and I'll start on this one here. I have to say, her vocals were really good. They were really powerful. You could really feel them sort of come through. I think at time, did she definitely miss a couple of notes, which was, but they're only a little bit.
It was just a little bit where you were like, oh, it's kind of on the cusp of being a bit flat, but then she kind of like reined it in before it was a problem, I guess.
Totally. And so she's not in that kind of big sort of pencil thing, where you put your pencils on, that staircase thing at the start. She kind of ends there with it all, and it is very dramatic. It's the pyro curtain. It's the kind of old school approach to Eurovision in that way. It feels like something that might have been in Eurovision 10 years ago, but it still is going to work, and it's going to definitely work for a lot of people, this song, and she does a good performance.
It's definitely a very spectacular prop, I'll say. It's massive, and it does glitter really nicely under the lights, I'll say. And her vocal is definitely the highlight of this performance. It definitely stands out as being nice and crisp and powerful.
Indeed. And the only thing is, like, I don't know if the performance and how it's all done matches the song entirely. I think they're both good in their way, but I'm not sure they kind of connect a little bit. That's the only other thing I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing for me, is just the vibe of the song doesn't match the vibe of the prop, really.
Because I thought the music video matched the song a lot more from this, and this is completely a totally 180 from that. Yeah. So but it's no doubt going to qualify. And there's definitely a quality vocal there. Germany.
What a treat!
Excited. What do you think?
Oh my God. Like, they couldn't have nailed this concept any better, I don't think. So it basically starts off like she's in a club, she's kind of under some, like you're under some stairs and you're kind of in the alleyway almost, and then you're sort of coming out and then you join your friends to go party. Like, it's the most authentic version of a party moment I've ever seen, because it's hard to bottle that without it looking really not good. But she just has that quality X factor where it's like, she's just so cool. It's so enjoyable. It's so good. I could gush about this for hours.
And I love this song, and I was always like, how are they going to do this? What's it going to be like? And Craig from the Aussievision team said, I think when I had a chat with him on the podcast, was like, it sounds like a song that would be played in a really cool Berlin bar that you are just not good enough to go into. Like, it's that kind of cool. The staging does that as well. I really feel like in that little club, it's like that looks so cool. I'm not going to get in.
Yeah,
it's aspirational.
I'm gonna get kicked out of the arena for not being cool enough while she's performing. But like, not just that, it has a real story progression. There's lots of different moments. There's nothing that's repeated in that 3 minutes. I will say the vocals is a little hard to assess actually in the arena. It was very echoey for that particular performance. So it did sound a little wiry at times, but as long as she can get most of it right, I feel like it's like serviceable enough for the song to not impact it too much.
Yeah, I agree. It sounded like it was okay, but again, very hard to tell at this point. Like, as long as it's not completely ropey, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
There's also a really nice moment where the electric cello hits the kind of stereo boombox type thing, and all this sort of pyro sparks come out of it.
It looks
really cool. And there's this black and white kind of bala at the background, which is kind of like sort of saying Charlie XCX type of approach to it. It feels really modern and contemporary and really good. This is a great Eurovision entry. It's never going to happen, but I'd be so happy if Germany won.
That would be great.
It'd be the best.
It would be so good.
All right, Serbia next. He's very, very good vocal, very powerful.
Yeah.
It's all about him and the dancers in this sort of dark colour, and most of the song is that until he gets dragged on the floor and he hits a big note at the end. There's just not a lot happening.
That drag on the floor, I don't want that to be the Red Sebastian moment for him. Do you know what I mean? Where there's that one camera shot that everyone thought was a little, what was that? And then that's all you talk about, because it kind of made me giggle. I don't want to be mean, but like, honestly, that's how silly it looks. But I totally agree. His vocal is the highlight here. It stands out as being a very different vocal to anyone else in this semi, I feel. But yeah, it's the reds and the colouring, I feel, also doesn't really work. It kind of clashes. It's kind of ugly.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the colour usage here. And also, I originally thought maybe going here wasn't too bad because you could have your ballad moment between other stuff. But now, you look at this. Luxembourg's been great. Israel's got this big vocal moment. Germany comes out to be cool. We're going to talk about in a minute. Finland closes. Then there's Serbia. You feel in a group like that, one goes out and and Serbia be the one.
Yeah, and even though Germany doesn't count, I mean,
still
from a running order point of view for the viewers, it definitely counts and changes how people feel about things. Yeah. So I'm worried. I mean, Serbia always does so well. They always get through,
get points.
But yeah.
They always either make it through or come 11th,
I preferred
right?
Nina. Like, if I was going to go for the big vocal moment, Balkan vocal moment, I would pick Nina.
I kind of have to agree.
Yeah.
But it's Serbia. I think
Yes.
that's always going to be the factor. And it's done very well for what it is vocally and for the song.
Yeah.
It's just a staging, let's go into Finland now as a show closer. This is a hard one because, there were some technical problems at the start, the camera in the wrong shot, and then they blacked out most of the screen for nearly all of the song. So there's not much we can kind of say about on the screen.
I'll say what we definitely could see, which was very different to her UMK performance, is that she uses the hanging lights on the ceiling a lot. The ones that come down from the ceiling, kind of, they go into like a triangle kind of thing. And from what we can see from the side, it looks really cool, but we didn't really get much of a chance to see what it looked like down the camera. But I'm presuming it would look pretty neat. Like, we genuinely couldn't see much of this one, unfortunately. The lights sort of obscured our view. So we saw her on the microphone, though. That was epic. And she kind of changed her pose on the microphone to like squat a little deeper, like, and she's got her leg like popped out further. Like, it was impressive.
It was my one kind of goosebump moment today. I don't know if it was just because I got to just see that live for the first thing.
Yeah.
But it was up and I was just like, it was just epic. It's the only word to describe it. And I just wish we got to see more of the whole thing, but she sounded good from what we could hear.
Yeah.
She's going to perform it as it is, and I think we're just going to see a kind of a very similar UMK performance other than a few bits and pieces. So
I think so.
Yeah, but that ending, brilliant. Love it. All right, well, that was sort of all the performances there. Liv, you had to say a couple that kind of stood out. They could either be that they were the best or that they rose for you.
My biggest rise is definitely Luxembourg. That's gone from borderline to rusted on in that grand final now for me, which is huge. And I would say also Lithuania, I would say, was actually my favourite of all those performances.
I have to say, the lift would have to be, I'll give it a tie between Luxembourg and Lithuania for lifting for me. But sort of, I guess, best for today, Germany, but it doesn't count for the qualifiers. It
kind of doesn't count, but
I know,
like it
but you know what I
does.
mean.
Yeah.
A bit hard to say that, but it was the best today. And you know what? I really like Greece. I really liked Greece. So there we go. All right, well, that's a wrap for today. We will see the jury show tonight. We'll have a better idea, and then we'll make our actual predictions. So watch out for that.
That one will be even more accurate.
Well, it depends what we say. We might refer back to this one now.
That's true.
All right, cool. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you soon.
Bye.
Bye.